Analysis Toolpak is an Excel add-in which provides us with many tools to conduct many statistical calculations. In order to use it, we have to enable that add-in. We go to this dialog to Developer tab or to File Options, and we can select either Analysis Toolpak or Analysis Toolpak VBA. The first one will provide us only with a graphical interface, and the second one will provide us with both the graphical interface and the VBA interface, so we will just select the second one, and you click on OK. In Data tab, in Analysis group, we will have Data Analysis button. We will click on it, and in that dialog we have many statistical tools. We will select Descriptive Statistics, and we will go on OK. And this is the dialog that we have to fill in order to get our results. First, we have to select a range. This is a range with our data. Then we have to define whether our data is organized in columns or in rows. In our case, we are using columns, so we will select columns. And we have a header, so we will select labels in first row. Now, these three options will decide where our results will be placed. If we select this option, Output Range, we can select any cell in this sheet or in some other sheet, and the results will be placed in this cell. And we have other two options. We will show them later. Here we have to select what statistics to be calculated. We will almost always select summer statistics because this will give us most of the statistics. We will select confidence level, and we will define that confidence level, and we will select to get kth largest and smallest value. When you click on OK, we will get our results. Here we get results separately for column 1 and for column 2. Now let's try something else, some other combinations of arguments. Let's select this table here. In this case, we have to check option rows, and we will select to place our results in new worksheet. It will be named Sheet 1. When you click on OK, a new worksheet will be created with the name Sheet 1, and in cell A1 we will get our results. Beside this, let's try something else. We can, for example, select data without header, and in this case we have to deselect these option labels in first column, and we will select a new workbook option. When you click on OK, a new workbook will be created with the name Book, with worksheet named Sheet 1, and in cell A1 we will get our results. Now let's see what comprise the results of this descriptive statistic. First, we can calculate all of our results by using Excel formulas. For example, this is just an average. This is standard error. Standard error is calculated by using this formula. This is standard deviation of a mean of a sample. And Excel doesn't have a function that will directly calculate standard error, so we have to create our formula by dividing standard deviation and square root from the number of observations. This is median. Now this is mode. Now there is one slight difference between mode calculated by using Excel formula. For example, if we have a sample that has two modes, for example, we have a sample like this. Mode function will return first mode, so it will return number 1, but the Analysis Toolpak will return number 5. So there is just a slight difference. Then we have standard deviation calculated by this formula, variance, which is square of standard deviation calculated by this formula. We have kurtosis and skewness. Kurtosis and skewness are used to decide whether our distribution fits into normal distribution. So if both these two coefficients are close to 0, in that case we can say that we have a normal distribution. Range is just a difference between maximal and minimal value. Then we have maximal and minimal value. We have a sum. We have a count of all observations. We have only 4 observations. This here means that we are looking for third largest value. So it is not 4, it is 2. And this is second smallest value, so it is not 1, which is minimal value, but it is 2. and at the end we have our confidence interval. Now this value here is calculated by using this formula. In our case, we have really small sample, smaller than 30 observation. So in this case, instead of z distribution, we are going to use t distribution. And for 3 degrees of freedom and confidence level of 95%, t value will be 3,1824. And when we multiply this value with standard error, we get this value. And this is the same value that Excel calculated. And at the end, we can calculate our confidence interval by subtracting mean and this value we just calculated, or we can sum them. Yes. And this is interval in which we expect with 95% confidence that mean of the whole population will occur in reality. Of course, this is only valid if our distribution would have normal distribution, but according to kurtosis and fewness, we don't have really a normal distribution, so these values are not really correct. Let's see now how to use analysis Toolpak with VBA. So we go to VBA environment. Here I have one procedure that is actually just calling another sub-procedure with name like this, and we have to provide that other sub-procedure with some arguments. Now, these arguments are actually the same one as we filled in our dialog. First argument is actually the range with our data, that is this. Then we have to provide a place to paste our results. If we provide one cell, then we are actually selecting this first option. If we type some string as a second argument, in that case a new worksheet with that name will be created. And if we omit this argument, or if we type false, in that case a new workbook will be created. Those are two first arguments. The third argument is either letter C or R, and in that way we decide whether our data is organized in columns or rows. Then we have to tell Excel whether our data has a header by typing true or false, and these last 4 arguments are actually these 4 arguments here. If we type true, we are going to get all summary statistics. 1 and 1 are used to get first, largest and smallest value, and 95 is used for this confidence interval. Now I'm going to start this sub-procedure. And when we go to our sheet, we can see that our results are created. I'm going to show you something else. We can also call this procedure by changing its name by adding a letter Q. In this case, when I type run, I'm first going to get a dialog. So now I have a chance to change, to customize this value according to my will. And there is one small bug in here. So if we open this range, we can see that here we have this accent. But if we go to start, we can see that we don't have such accent, so we have to type it here. And we have to do the same thing here. There has to be an accent at the start and at the end. And only now this dialog will work. So when I click on OK, we are going to get our results again. Now the question is, where is this sub-procedure that we are calling? Well, when we enable our analysis Toolpak add-in, we will get this project here. When you click on it, we have to provide a password, and this is the password. So I'm going to copy this password, and I'm going to enter it into this dialog. When I click on OK, our project will be open. Then I can go to modules, and I'm going to click here. Now here are all procedures that we can call. Now each of these procedures presents one of those statistical tools. There is always an ordinary version and Q version, almost for everything. And the calculations themselves are not done through VBA, but they are done through code that is placed in this library. But what is important is that here we can see what arguments are our procedures using, and what data types are those arguments.